book lovers, and welcome to another reading vlog. Expect quite a few vlogs this month because I'm planning to do a few. So we are going to be doing a 48-hour readathon this weekend. I just wanted to get ahead in my books for July, just so you know I don't have the little bit of looking at my books and thinking, oh. To be fair, I haven't got that many books on my TBR compared to what June's was, as that was just manic. 40 books, don't do it guys, don't do it. But yeah, I've got a mixture of books I'd like to read for this vlog readathon. A couple of books are for a readathon I'm participating in, and a couple are for tours that I'm on that I thought I'd get a head start in, but they're really little. I also have 2 books that I carried over from June to July, which are my main concern at the minute. So let's just get into the books that I am planning and hopefully able to read them all, because I don't see why not. So first up, well, the first 2 are books that have been carried on from June, and that is The Asylum by Karen Coles. This is my book club's June pick. We're not doing the discussion until Saturday, so I want to concentrate on this. This is my priority, purely because I'm on page 11, chapter 3. So yeah, so I want to concentrate on this first because my discussion will be on Saturday at 8:30. So kind of need to read the book to, you know, put the discussion out there. So this takes priority. It's a historical thriller set in a asylum called Angelton Lunatic Asylum, where our main character Maud has been there for 5 years. She meets a new doctor who decides to change like different tactics of helping her, and he kind of delves deeper into her past, and she soon realizes that in this asylum people are actually making her crazy, basically, so she won't talk because it's clear that they know something, that she knows something that will put them in jeopardy. So it's a historical thriller. It's based in the 19th century, so it's based in 1906. From what I'm gathering from my book club members, a lot are saying it's really good. It's very quick and pacey, and I'm not saying it isn't, because of what I've read I've been quite fixed. It's not keeping my attention, but we'll see. But this takes priority because, like I said, I have a discussion to do, and I can't do a discussion if I've not read it. And then the next book that takes priority as well is Crown of Midnight by Sarah J Maas. This is the second book in my read along that I sort of did in my book club, where I read all books by Sarah J Maas. I'm on page 192, chapter 24. I'm literally in the halfway mark, so it's not going to take me long to read the rest of the other half, purely because I'm loving this book. But again, this takes priority purely because the discussion for this is on Sunday. So yeah, I want to sort of get these 2 done and dusted so I can do all the discussion points and then not stress. And the rest of the books are sort of just ones that I want to sort of tick off, so then I don't have to worry. So we got a little tiny one, which is We Should All Be Feminists by Shamanda Nuzi Adichie. I don't know if I said that right, but it is literally, how many pages is this? 48 pages, so it's not going to take me long. But this is for Myth Take Path or Pathian's readathon that I'm participating in. So it was a read a book that has feminism in it, and so I thought I'd do this little non-fiction book because it's small and it'll be easy done. So we're definitely gonna read that. Then we've got Nick and Charlie by Alice Osman, which is a solitaire novella. I absolutely love these 2 characters. Last month I just read Heartstoppers volume 1 to 4 and just loved it, so I thought we're gonna go for this little novella. This is also for Myth Takes Readathon because I'm participating in 2 paths, because you can choose one or as many as you want. So I decided to do Path of Underworld and Path of Beauty. So this was for Path of Beauty, which is read a romance book. So we'll go. I will have the Myth Take actual readathon TBR video that I've done for this tagged put in the description so you can look at that so you know. But yeah, then we've also got another one for the readathon, which is Magnus Chase and the Sword of Summer by Readathon. I don't know if I said that right. This is a sort of, it's from the creator of Percy Jackson, which I've not actually read yet, but this sounded really cool. But this is for one of the prompts of the main character or someone in the book that makes something, and apparently someone in here makes a lot of stuff, so that's why I got this. But this has got a lot of Greek mythology in it, and I'm here for that, so I'm hoping this will be a really fun, easy read. I think it's YA, so I kind of feel like I will get straight into it. Then we've got The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He. Again, this is for the readathon. This is for the prompt of read a book that has 2 characters in it, which we do. We have the 2 sisters. So yeah, a lot of people love this book, so I'm very excited for it. It's a very pretty book inside. It's got beautiful end papers. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I think someone said this is a sci-fi, but when you look at it, it doesn't overly look like a sci-fi, so I'm quite interested to see how sci-fi it is, because I'm just getting into it. But yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about this, so I'm hoping I'll like it. And the next 2, the next 2 are for tours that I'm on. I think they're both for the same tour. It might not be, I can't remember now. I have it down, but I never know which tour it is. I have to always go through all my emails to find out. But they're both non-fiction, they're both memoirs, so very different to what I usually read. But the first one is Small on Motherhood by Claire Lynch. So this is a memoir about Claire and her partner Beth, about being mothers, about how they got to become mothers. It's got infertility, miscarriages, IVF. We've got queer rep in here. There's a lot of diverse rep in here. There's a lot going on in this little teeny tiny book. But I've seen a couple of people review it already for their tool spots, and they've just said they weren't expecting what they got, and it was brilliant. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. I must admit, I love reading books that's to do with motherhood, because obviously being a mother of my own, it's just nice to read them, and sometimes without realizing you sort of like get tips how to maybe improve being a mother or something. But yeah, I think this is going to be very good. I've got a feeling it might be a little bit emotional, but we'll see. But yeah, I've got high expectations for this. From what I've seen review-wise, everyone said it's just, you wouldn't think it is a memoir non-fiction, which I quite like, because sometimes I feel if I'm reading something that feels very non-fiction-y, I don't enjoy it as much. And then the last one is also a non-fiction, and it's a memoir, is Life at the End of the Tunnel by Christina Black. This is all about domestic abuse, how she gets out of this situation, and then how she moves on from all of that. So it's a very probably hard-hitting, quite tough topics in this book, but I like, it sounds wrong to say I like reading those books, but I just like that kind of rep, and for someone who has been in an abusive relationship, it's quite nice to have a book where it focuses on that. So yeah, I think this is going to be really good too. So they are the books I hopefully get to read, and I'm going to start this at 4 o'clock Friday and end at 4 o'clock on Sunday. And yeah, with further ado, next time you see me, I will be starting this readathon at 4 o'clock. So with that, I will see you back then. So it's time to start the readathon. It's a little bit later than I said it was. It's actually 5:30, but I wanted to finish filming some videos that I had started, but I was waiting on some books, so I've just quickly done that. But now I'm starting, and we are going to start with the Asylum, because I need to read this for my book club discussion. So that is what we're starting with. I am on page 11, chapter 3. So that's what we're going to do. Hi. So I've finished this. I am going to be very honest though, I skim read a heck of a lot of this. it wasn't for me. Like, even like the thriller part of this just wasn't for me. Like, I could see how it was playing right from the start, like as like, you know, the first bit of the book that I got into, like from like, yeah, so like all this, so it was page, what was it, 110, and I could just tell where it was all gonna play and everything. I skim read a lot of it. I'm not gonna be honest, it wasn't holding my attention. I could kind of tell how it was all going to play out. I just did not like this one person, and yeah, it wasn't for me. I'm not even 100% sure where to rate this, how to rate it. Like, I kind of feel like a 3 is a push. It just wasn't for me. It'll be interesting to see what my book club members think of it. I know one really enjoyed it, so, but it wasn't for me. The one bit I did like, which I've actually put down here, this is a quote. It says, "You are grieving, you are still grieving, but grief is not an illness, it's the price of love." I really like that. I thought that was a really good, interesting quote. But I don't know what it was. I don't know whether it was because it is like 19th century asylums, whether it's just, there was a lot of things I just thought, oh my god, this is peeving me off. And yeah, I just knew how it was going to play out. I just knew how it was going to play out. As things started being and saying, oh, it's going to be this and that, and I was like, there was one little bit twist in here where she has a child, which I didn't expect. So that was a twist, but that was probably it. I just could see how it all played out. You know, I did feel sorry for the character mold, and but like everything else, I was just like, yeah, like if it wasn't my book club pick, I probably would DNF it, if I'm going to be totally honest. So when I really think of it like that, I'm probably going to give it maybe a 2.5 stars. But yeah, I've done that. Although I will admit to say that I haven't read it like properly, purely because I could see how it's going. I skimmed read a lot of bits. The bits that I didn't was the bit when she was having her one-to-one with the doctor, and also the flashbacks. I quite was interested in that because that was where everything revealed. But I'm going to go and now finish Crown of Midnight. Like I said, I'm halfway. I'm on page 192, so I'm now going to finish this because it ain't going to take me long. And yeah, once I've done that, I can then focus on all of the rest of the books, because these two were the priority and they will be out of the way. So yeah, I will catch up with you once I finish this. I just got to page 230 of this. They just fucking killed Nehemia. What the fuck? What the fuck, Sarah J Maas? She was one of the best side characters in Throne of Glass, and you fucking killed her. I'm not bloody impressed. She was my favourite. Minus Selena, but what the fuck? Good afternoon. So I haven't really updated you at all. Just quickly give you a catch up. So I stayed awake till 1 a.m. last night. I really wanted to stay up until I finished Crown of Midnight because I didn't have that much left to read, but I was starting to really struggle at 1 o'clock and thought, nah, I'm gonna have to go. So I originally was planning to set my alarm for 9 o'clock and read until midday and then get ready, then grab some lunch. But that didn't happen purely because when I woke up at 9, I was like, I really need to edit my July TBR video because I hate like leaving it and then putting it up quite late. Like, I like to do it more in the beginning of July because obviously you sort of start your TBR in July, don't you? So I decided to just use that like morning to edit, and it took me way longer than I wanted it to. So it took me like 3 hours to actually edit all because I had loads of little different clips to all sort out, and managed to finish it at I managed to finish it around 11, and like saved it and did it all as thing, and then I watched back it to make sure it was okay and realised that I hadn't actually put any of the books that I mentioned on my Kindle, because I didn't actually mention the books. I just sort of said like them because I had loads of books to go through. so I needed to put them up there because no one knew what I was on about. So I had to go back and edit that, and then I had to move all of my music and all my other edit bits along because it all messed it all up. So it took me until about 12 o'clock, half 12 to sort out, and I finally quickly got ready. And yeah, so I haven't really read anything this morning, but I am on page 312 of Crown of Midnight. I literally have about 104 pages left. So I am going to go outside in a minute once I've made my lunch and eat and read the rest of this. It will not take me long because shit's happening basically. But yeah, I'm going to do that, and then I will once I finish that, I will go and read We Should All Be Feminists, which is only like 40 something pages, and then once I've done that, then we will be starting Nick and Charlie because I really want to read that. So they're the plans of reads at a minute. Once I finish them, I will pick up another book. I'm just not sure which, but I have got a parcel and I thought I'd do an unboxing. I did a order from the works as I had some money off, and I saw there a couple of books that I really wanted, so I was like, I'm going to use that. So this is this little haul. I've got a couple of books that like I know me and my mum will share, so I thought, you know, get some for me, get some for her. Oh, why is it not working? It's stuck. I hate unboxing, it takes me forever. So first up, which is like for me and to share with my mum as well, we've got Winging It by Anna Jefferson. It says Sleep is for the weak, caffeine is for the mothers. It's basically about this character called Emily who has become a new mum, and she's just getting absolutely everything wrong, and it's just basically it basically says Emily's about to discover that when you're starting a family, what you really need are your friends. So it's not so much like a romance, it's more of a like what it's like to be a new mum and how everything changes. And I just thought this would be brilliant for both me and my mum because we're both parents. We both only have one child. I'm obviously a single parent, so yeah, I'm really interested to just see what this is about. So we got that. Then I also got, and I haven't read the first one yet by her, but I got Meet Me in Hawaii by Georgia Toff, known as Toff in Made in Chelsea. So my mum read the first one, which was Meet Me in London, which was a Christmassy book, and she said it was good. It was not overly brilliant, but a lot of other people who read that book said it was fantastic, and a few people got like an arc of this. Other people bought it when it came out, but I saw it was on £2 deal, and I was just like, I'm gonna go and get it. And I thought this would probably be nice for the summer, and I'll read Meet Me in London in winter because obviously it's a Christmassy sort of feel book. But yeah, I got that, and my mum can read it too because obviously she read the first one. And then the rest are actually sort of for me. So let me just get the ones that are a second, which I use. Okay. Book 2 or book 3? I can't really remember. Hang on. Yeah. I sort it out. You probably saw. So I've got the Lani Taylor's trilogy of Daughter of Smoke and Bone. Now I do actually own this copy, but I like this cover. It's just, I like this cover, and like all of the other books are in this cover, so I was just like, I don't really want to have the first book and then two different ones. But I saw these were you know, 3 for £5 on the offer, and I was just like, right. So I've got Daughter of Smoke and Bone, which I do own, but I might just give away to someone else. I then got the second book, which is Days of Blood and Starlight, which I love this cover. I just think that's awesome. And then I got the third book of the trilogy, which is Dreams of Gods and Monsters. And again, it's just a beautiful thing. And when you go like that, you've got all of the faces. I like it. I thought, no, I want it. So I got them. And then I also saw this and thought, oh my god, I had to. So I've got Rainbow Milk by Paul Mendez, which I think is a sort of memoir. It's not actually like it's not like a fiction book. It is like real life scenarios. But everyone and then grandmother has like read this and loved it, and it's in this cover. I do like the other one, but unless it is just in this cover, I'm sure there's another cover for it. Whatever, but I saw it and thought, oh my god, it's a sign. like, you know, 3 for £5, yes. So I got that, and then the last book I got, which I did like added because obviously there's 6 books there, so that made it £10. But I saw this and I thought, oh, this sounds really good. So I've got Goldilocks, Our Future is in Her Hands by Laura Lamb, and basically this is a sci-fi book, but it just sounds fantastic. It really sounds like a book that I can sink my teeth to and enjoy, because some sci-fis I have enjoyed because they're not too complicated to understand, and then I have had others that are just really complicated that I don't understand, but this actually sounds like one that I would understand and probably like breeze through it. So yeah, that is the little book haul from the works. And now I'm going to go and grab some food and finish the rest of Crown of Midnight, and then I will come and update you about that. So yeah, I will catch up with you all a little bit later. Oh, it's raining! Oh! Oh! Holy shit! It just gets better and better. Like, okay, I know some of the backstories of Throne of Glass because I've read numerous reviews. I've seen numerous booktubers talk about Throne of Glass. I've seen so much fan art as well. So there's little bits that have been spoilt for me, so I do know, but I didn't know whereabouts all these revelations will come. And when I started reading Crown of Midnight, I kind of felt like, oh, okay, this name's propped up. I know what this name means because of being spoiled, basically. And I was like, is this gonna reveal it? I wasn't expecting this revelation to happen in book 2. I was thinking this was gonna be book like 4 or even near the end of the series, not book 2. So as much as I saw some bits coming, like I don't know everything. I know three really important things, but I don't know when this one bit happens. I think this is later in the books, and I'm nowhere near that yet. But when the revelation came, I was like, even though I knew it was going to happen as I got into the book, I was like, shit, I didn't know that. So I'm going to put my hand up because I am going to spoil it. So if you haven't read Throne of Glass and want to, don't watch this. If you are reading Throne of Glass and you haven't got to this book yet, don't watch this. Once my hand is down, you can continue with this video. So, Selena is Eileen Ashriver Galanfinus, if I've said that right. And she's Fae! I knew it. I knew it. I knew it anyway. It unfortunately spoiled me. I also know the real person she gets with, which I don't know when, but I always was shipping her and Kale. So yeah, I knew when that happened, which happens in here, I knew it wasn't gonna last. But I may have had a little loose tear because I honestly do want them to last, because I honestly think they're just a lovely relationship. But yeah, what I did not know about Selena, Eileen, is that she is a shapeshifter, that she can shape her fae form into whatever she wants, and she can shape it into human. So A, that's how people didn't realise she's fae, and B, it's why currently she is in human form, because magics no longer exists at this particular moment, and so no one knows. It was only as she went into a portal in this book that the trueness of Selena Eileen. Shit, man. And she just told Kale a date, and he's finally now worked it all out, and now he is absolutely fuming because he has sent her to the one place where she pretty much can now overthrow Lee King, because she's actually the heir to the crown. Yes. 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 Also, I have already put this in the clip before, but how dare they fucking kill Nehemia? I loved her and Selena's relationship. I was really hoping that she was going to be like quite an important character in the books. No, not happy. But honestly, this Sarah J Maas just knows how to mind blow you, and this is becoming really hard to decide which series I love now. I love ACOTAR, but at the moment ACOTAR only has 4 books, and I felt the 4th book I loved, but it didn't have as much fighting stuff as I wanted, like the other books did. I love From Blood and Ash, like all that series, and I know there's going to be a 6th book in the series, and I just finished the 3rd book, so I am expecting to still love that series. But I think this is on par with From Blood and Ash now, because I think there's 7 books in this series, and each book just gets better and better. Like, holy shit, we're on book 2, and all these revelations come back, like Dorian has magic. Like, how? But he has magic, and it's just come clear that the king clearly has magic, so hence why Dorian's got magic. So, damn. And yeah. An archer. Bastard. Yeah. Fantastic. We know this is going to be a 5 stars. I don't actually know how I'm going to review this, because I can either review it and say that there are so many spoilers in this, you know, if you've not read it, don't read it. But I hate doing that because I don't like ruin it for people, and I don't like it that people can't read my review because I've got spoilers in. So I might just have to say, you know, read this series because it's fucking amazing. But yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'm now going to pick up this. It is probably going to take me, 30 minutes? Probably less than that, and then once I'm done with that, I will then pick up Nick and Charlie, and then we'll go from there. But I'm now just going to sort of gather my thoughts, have a little come down from a book, put my thoughts in a drafted review, and then pick up this one, just because, you know, I need to just like scream a minute. It was brilliant. Well, I've had a little nice reading sprint, so I managed to read and finish this within 10-15 minutes. This is just amazing. This is my first Adichie book, and I'm not gonna lie, I need more by her. Like, I need more. Like, I know this is non-fiction and I know this is more like a essay, but the way she writes is just like so, she just absorbs you in and doesn't want to let you go. I have pretty much, I don't know whether you can see, dog-eared a lot of pages. Like, this is 48 short pages, but it is jam-packed with so much stuff. And I do have some feminist bits in me. There are certain bits where I sort of think, oh yeah, I have a little bit of feminism in me, but I wouldn't go to say that I'm a complete feminist. But a lot of, well, pretty much everything that was written in here, I was like, oh my god, yeah, like I sort of have thought about it, but never really went into what I was thinking. But there's this bit at the back which I've quoted it in my review, and it says, I'd like to ask that we begin to dream about and plan for a different world, a fairer world, a world of happier men and happier women who are truer to themselves. And this is how to start. We must raise our daughters differently. We must also raise our sons differently. And I'm like, yeah, like, you all know by now, I have a 5-year-old daughter, and it's true. Like, we treat boys to say that they aren't allowed to have their emotions, that they're not allowed to cry, that we tell them to grow up and things like that. You know, we teach girls in a way to be like, you know, it shouldn't be taught that men are higher up and get all the things. It should be completely equal. It should be, it doesn't matter what gender you are, you should be equal enough to get a high-flying job or whatever. Like, it shouldn't be women should just be cooking in their marriage. It shouldn't be women should be just looking after the kids and things like that. And it also in here, it really approached about like Nigerian women, and like I think every female in the world has some sort of irk about men and anger about things, but there were some bits about like the Nigerian culture for women and all that I just thought, oh my god, wow, like to be a black person is probably 10 times worse than being a white person. But as well as this, it also sort of made me think about queers, without being horrible, but you know, LGBTQ people, gays, lesbians, transgender, it's sort of like, you know, what must it feel like for them? And yeah, it just makes you really think about everything. It makes you sort of look into your life and like sort of nitpick everything out. That I've looked and I thought, oh my god, you know, a lot of things that were said in this, I have felt. I have, like, you know, I have dressed provocatively to get noticed and things like that. And there's been times where, like, you know, I sort of, when I was younger, made judgments of slutty girls and, you know, thinking, oh my god, they're asking for it, but actually they're not. Maybe that's just what they want to dress. You know, I've had times where I've dressed what I wanted and it might be not appropriate or whatever. It's just like what she said in here is just the way everything's been brought up, like 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, and like how like men are superior and all that, and it's just ingrained in everyone as years go on. Like, you know, your grandparents are taught your mother like it, and your mother sort of, that's what she's learned, she teaches you, and you do because what you've learned, you teach it to your child. And it's just that sort of thing that, you know, no one's sort of going out of that sort of scenario and actually thinking, actually. And yeah, I it was just so interesting. And 48 pages, come on, like this was jam-packed with absolutely everything. But yeah, I really want to read more of her work. Like, I know this is like her non-fictional book and the rest are fiction, but yeah, I just, the way she writes is just, phew, chef's kiss. And then I picked up and read Nick and Charlie, a solitaire novella. Now, I haven't read any of the other actual books. The only books I've read by Alice Osman is Heartstopper graphic novels, but I love this. But I am such a pessimist when it comes to love. It's just me, of my relationships, how crappy they've mainly been. So I read this, and as much as lovely it was, I in the back of my head thought, like, excuse me, like the pessimist of me is sort of like, you know, their relation's not going to end when Nick goes to uni. Like, he's older, he wants to spread his wings and all that. Like, there's a part of me thinking, like, really, like, would this happen? But then also I'm thinking, well, actually, yeah, there are a lot of people who have childhood sweethearts that they may have broken up, but they end up going back together and they get married and they live happily ever afters. And you know, I get that. Like my grandparents are that. You know, my nan fell in love with my granddad, but they broke up like sort of after school. My nan got married to someone else, and she had her 3 children, my mum included, but her husband was abusive and not very nice, and in the end that marriage was over. And she re-met my granddad and they got remarried. And it's just, you know, my granddad's not had any children. He took on, I think, you know, teenage children when he got married to my nan. And it's sort of like I can see it. Like I understand that, you know, they are your childhood sweethearts. It might not completely last for the rest of your lives, but you know, there have been people where they come back to them and then it's like they're happy ever after. But just the pessimist side of me was just like, it doesn't happen, it's not real. And that's just me because I'm awful with relationships. But it sounds really strange. I preferred the graphic novels. I love this, but I don't feel it's a 5-star for me. I think whether it's just because I quite like the topics that are approached in the graphic novels. Like you have about coming out for you, not for everyone else. It has about like understanding your sexuality, not just Nick and Charlie, but other side characters in there, their friends. You know, as we get into book 2, it started talking about Charlie's mental health and that he used to sort of self-harm himself, and then like 3 and 4 it approached his mental health and also his anorexia. And I just really liked the rep that the graphic novels had. And I just felt, as much as it did talk about certain bits from the graphic novels in this, like I'm glad I read the graphic novels and then this, because reading this without the graphic novels I wouldn't really understand what was going on. But I just, it was literally just like, you know, Nick's going to university and Charlie's worried because, you know, it's now a long distance relationship rather than seeing each other every single day, which like is every person's sort of fear when you have a relationship like that. But I don't know, like it's obviously a novella, which I get, it's not going to be long. I could have done with a bit, like, you know, more of the rep that Alice does with her books, because I just felt, you know, that's what drew me into Nick and Charlie, because, you know, it wasn't easy for them. But yeah, I still enjoyed it. It's still going to be a 4 stars. Like, it's just, for me, I think I prefer the graphic novels. Now on to the next book, and I think I'm going to go with this one, just to keep with the short books at the moment. I think I'm going to go Life at the End of the Tunnel by Christina Black, purely because I know this is going to have quite hard-hitting topics. And I think if I read this, and then I can decide how I am mentally after this book on what to go next, like whether go to a book that's a bit happier or go to the other non-fiction and all that. But I honestly think this is going to take me too long to read, because it's only 237 pages long, and I think this is going to be a very grabbing book. But yeah, so we're going to go with this, and then I'll come back to you once I've read this. So I finished Life at the End of the Tunnel by Christina Black. I was expecting this to be a heavy book, but it was very heavy. I definitely say, if you're going to pick this up, take note on the triggers. Like, there are a lot of triggers. It doesn't say it on here, but do your research, because there is a hell of a lot of triggers in here. The only way I can describe this is Christina's gone through hell and back, and if I was in her position, honestly, I'd either be in a mental hospital or dead, because the disgusting, horrid life she went through. If I was her, I don't think I could live, to be honest. I'm in awe with her by how she managed to get through hell and come out of it better. Yeah, this is thing is, I would rate it on Goodreads at 5 stars, because you have to rate it, but I wouldn't personally rate it normally on my Bookstagram and everywhere, purely because the topics on here is about domestic abuse, rape, you know, a brother sexually assaulting her. Yeah, there is so much awfulness in this, but how she come out of it, and how like she's a completely better person as well. Like she doesn't even hold any grudges, which if that was me, I probably really would. But yeah, it was a very moving book. It's very hard hitting, and honestly, I'm in awe with Christina and how she got through all of that. And it wasn't just like one thing that happened to her. She had like a million of shitty things happen to her, and I'm just how someone can go through that and end up happy and living a normal life and finally getting something good. How she just came out of her life in a completely better situation than the people who did her harm. But yeah, it's a tough read, I'm not gonna lie. So if you do want to pick this up, just be noteful that you will be very disgusted in the nicest possible way. But I'm really hats off to Christina for sharing her story. Like at the back of this book, like the sort of like epilogue and the one before, it was cathartic for her to go through everything, but obviously it did open up some wounds and all of that. But it was her choice to do so. But honestly, like I think for people who've gone through, like I've been through domestic abuse, but nothing like that. Like, you know, I got out of it very quickly. I more had the emotional abuse than anything. But I think for people who've gone through similar or even the same horribleness that Christina did, they probably would really benefit from this book, just to, you know, basically just sort of know that there is hope at the end of the tunnel and not everything is going to be horrendous. Like, you know, there is evil, but it always is good to counteract it. But yeah, it was a very good book. But I'm not gonna lie, I really want to read something that's not too heavy. So as much as I want to pick up Small Motherhoods, I think I will read this tomorrow, just purely because this obviously does broach about miscarriages, infertility and things, and I don't know whether it will be like not like hard-hitting, upsetting, or whether it will be. So I'm going to read something a bit more fluffier-ish. So I'm going to pick up this novella first, just because I've been concentrating loads on writing, especially as Life at the End of the Tunnel was quite small writing. It was really small writing, but a lot on a page. So I am going to read this, The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Nevo. It's not that many pages. I think it's 100, just over maybe. So I'm going to read that, and then I'm going to start The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He and go from there. I don't know how long this will take me, depending, because it is a sci-fi, so it might take me long, it might not. Whether this will be the last book I read for this vlog or not, we'll see. But yeah, so I'm going to read The Empress of Salt and Fortune first, then read this, see how much I can get through there. I'm not overly tired, so I might stay up until I can no longer stay up, but we'll see. But with further ado, I'm going to go and put my jammies on, and then get snuggled into bed and start reading this book on my Kindle. Good morning. Well, it's still morning. Just to quickly give you a reading update. I stayed up till yeah, 2:30 reading. So I read The Empress of Salt and Fortune. I don't know what I feel about it. Like I just, it felt like I read a really random book. Like I don't know whether it was part of a series and maybe I read like the second or third book in a series or something, or whether it is a standalone. There doesn't seem to be a plot to it, and it's just, I was confused. The only really bit I liked about it was sort of the Japanese culture. That was interesting, and also sort of like they going back and into like Rabbit's memories of the Empress, but there wasn't really anything else going on. So yeah, don't really I don't really get what I read. But yeah, I read it, and then I did pick up The Ones We're Meant to Find. I read the first chapter, so I'm on page 11. I'm enjoying it. It's already got me intrigued, so I'm going to continue reading this today. I don't think I'll be able to finish it, but I know, you never know, I might do, because it does feel like quite an easy read, so we'll see. It's absolutely pouring down here in the UK. It's been doing it since, like, well, a little bit on Friday in the evening, but this weekend it's been pants. But I'm wearing lazy stuff today because I didn't get to sleep till 3 a.m. and I've only just woken up at 11, if I'm going to be totally honest. And I'm not in the mood to do anything. The weather's pants, so I'm just going to sort out my bed hair because it's a mess. Make my bed and open the curtains and stuff like that, and then get back to reading because I was planning to get up early and read, but then there was no way I was going to get up early when I didn't get to sleep till like 3 a.m. or just after. And I blame reading, watching YouTube, and chatting to my friend for that. So if my friend's watching this, I blame you. But yeah, I'm going to carry on and finish sorting out, getting ready, and then I will then pick up and more of the one I meant to find. I would like to finish it, but I don't see that happening because we'll see. We'll see.
Everything's unfolding as it should, and I would be more grateful if I could. If the world is an image in my mind, then I can't complain about what I find. Maybe I wanna be taller, maybe I wanna be richer, but I guess when all is said and done, I'm pretty happy with this picture, 'cause everything's unfolding as it should, and I would be more grateful if I could.
It is the end of my 48-hour readathon, and I think I did really well in my reads. So if I can grab them, these are the books that I wanted to read, and I didn't read this one and I didn't read this one. However, I did read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 physical books, these 5, and I also read a book on my Kindle, which I'll get to in a minute, and I did start the ones I meant to find. I think my last clip on here, I said I was on page 85, but I'm thoroughly enjoying this, so I'm going to continue reading this, and hopefully I'll finish this either on Monday or Tuesday at the latest, because it's fantastic. But yeah, so on to the first book that I read in this vlog. I read The Asylum by Hani Koi. Didn't enjoy it. Like I said in my thing, in my clips, I did skim read a lot of this. It just, I knew how it was going to end very early on, which spoiled it for me, and it was just, it wasn't for me. So I'm going to give this 2.5 stars. On Goodreads I probably put it as 3 because you can't do half stars. But yeah, it wasn't, no. It's quite interesting because a few of my book club members absolutely loved this, which I think was probably their genre. But for me it was just a flop. A couple of other people liked the first half, or liked one half and didn't like the other half. But yeah, I think I'm the only one who really felt this was a flop. So I kind of let them all have their discussion with it rather than me asking questions, because if I'm going to be totally honest, I didn't enjoy it. So I felt I wouldn't be able to like say my thoughts apart from I didn't like it. But yeah, so 2.5 stars for that. Then we finished the rest of Crown of Midnight with Sarah J Maas. So I literally was in the halfway mark. I can't remember whereabouts I was. I'm sure I was on chapter 21, or maybe it was a bit further in. Can't remember. I was halfway in, so I've just read the last half. Loved this. The twist in this, and you would have seen the clips of all of the things that came out. I'm still shook over them killing off Nehemia, like, what the fuck? But yeah, this is a 5 stars. Obviously, to be fair, if I could give it even higher than 5 stars, I would. But yeah, I am so excited to pick up Air of Fire, which is this month anyway, so I think I'm going to get rid of the last 2 remaining tour books I have and then get into Air of Fire, because I need to know what happens. Then I read this little beauty, We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. 5 stars, love this. It's just full of feminist facts, and it's just a lot of things that made me think, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so true. Some bits I was very much like it myself, but it certainly opened my eyes of like what I want to teach my daughter, to hopefully when she gets to a certain age she has a different aspect to genres. But yeah, love this. Even for a 48-page little tiny book, it packed a punch. Then I read Nick and Charlie, a solitaire novella. I enjoyed this, but I didn't enjoy this as much as I love the Heartstopper volumes, the graphic novels. I just feel like this, like, I am a cynic when it comes to romance, I am, and I don't get me wrong, I like this, but I like the representation that's in the Heartstopper graphic novels. I like the rep about coming out, or, you know, all these expectations, and, you know, the rep with mental health and anorexia with Charlie. It's just, there were mentions in here, and I know this was like moving on and things are better for Charlie, but it's just sort of, it lacked what I get from the graphic novels, but it's still a 4 stars. I still loved it, and yeah, I definitely want to read like the rest of like the sort of series. So yeah, I'll eventually do that, because I've read what each book's all about, and I definitely can tell that there's going to be a lot of rep in those books. But yeah, for a little novella and to sort of see how they got on from the graphic novels, this was brilliant, but it didn't do it like the Heartstoppers, so 4 stars. Then I read Life at the End of the Tunnel by Christina Black. I've given this 5 stars for Goodreads, but actually when I put my review up, when it's my tour stop, I'm not going to rate it, purely because it's non-fiction, it's a memoir, and it does focus a lot on domestic abuse, sexual abuse, rape. It has very hard topics, so if you do want to read this, just make sure you check the trigger warnings, because there's quite a lot. It's really hard to say I enjoyed this book, because the topics are on here, it isn't enjoyable, and I'm in awe of Christina, because the shit she went through, and it wasn't just one thing, she had about a dozen things that happened in her life, and I genuinely have my hats off to her, because how she got through all of this trauma and come out as an even better person and positive, and, you know, she has a happy ever after. But I'm genuinely like, you know, if that was me, you know, once maybe, twice maybe, but if it kept going on in my life, which it was happening with her, I genuinely think I would either be in a mental hospital or I would have killed myself, because the stuff she went through, like, yeah, is a very good read. Like, you know, I appreciate her being really, really honest, and it's clear that this was cathartic for her to get stuff out that she probably never got out before, but also it did get her in a bad place as well, because obviously she was remembering some really tough moments in her life. But yeah, I really recommend everyone to read this if it's not too triggering for them, because it's certainly a book that makes you open your eyes to how cruel the world is, and how much of that can be a taboo subject. And also, I just think for people who have been in domestic abuse or sexual assaults, and, you know, haven't had quite a tough ride compared to others, I think they would really get something from this, because, you know, it's clear that everything that went on with Christina, she managed to get herself out of that. She managed to get herself in a really good place, and, you know, it must have taken a lot for her to carry on, basically. But yeah, I then read The Empress of Salt and Fortune. I still don't know where my head is with that. I haven't even written my review, because I'm still baffled about this book. I didn't get it at all. All I knew was it was sort of this grandmother called Rabbit, who was basically telling her story of her being I don't know what they're called. I can't remember what it's called now. Like a cleaner sort of thing for the Empress. But they sort of became friends, and she was sharing her story to this bird and this cleric. Like, I did like that. Like, I quite liked learning about the Empress and that story sort of things. But I didn't really understand the plot and what the story was supposed to be about, whether it was literally just about the Empress or what. I got baffled, and like, I sort of didn't understand who the cleric was. Like, what does she do? It didn't really explain that. I do know that it is a series, so I don't know whether I read it in a wrong order, like read it in a wrong order, that or what. But I do say they're standalones, so as well. So I still don't know how I feel. Like, I really enjoyed the Japanese culture. Like, like I've been saying, a few books that I have read, I've got Japanese culture in. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's a culture that has started to get me really fascinated in, which is a first because you know, I'm slowly learning it. So when I read other books that have Japanese culture, I know what it's about, kind of thing. So I enjoyed that. But it's a book that's baffled me, and I still don't know where my head's at with it. Like, I think I'll probably be giving it a 3 star, but I'm not sure. But yeah, that is the books I've read. I will be finishing this in like hopefully Monday. If not, it will be Tuesday, and then I will probably pick up the smalls on motherhood, as I need to do tour for that, and then the last tour book, and then I can concentrate on everything else. But I am going to, like I said before, I'm going to be doing lots of vlogs because my daughter's spending time at her dad's. She breaks up on summer holidays on the 21st of July, and it's the last. It'll be a last day at reception because she's going into year 1 in September. Oh, not ready for that. But yes, so she's got her holiday time with him. So because she's there longer than her normal 2 nights, I'm going to be reading a lot because I'm not good when I'm apart from her for a long time. So expect more vlogs and expect more me doing a lot of more bookish content than normal. But if you've got this far, thank you for watching. If you've read any of these books that I've read, let me know your thoughts, or if you fancy reading any of those books, let me know as well. And yes, I will catch you all later. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.